Dear listeners of the Destiny Tales channel, this is Emily Harper warmly greeting all of you. Today, in our familiar broadcast slot, I'm thrilled to bring you a captivating story titled Enchanted by a Young Lover. I hope this tale will offer you moments of relaxation and intrigue. After listening, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel to support me and the entire team. Now, let's dive into the story. The morning sunlight streamed through the window, waking me. I reached for my phone, 5:50 a.m. After freshening up, I noticed my daughter, Lily, still asleep. I headed downstairs and went to the market as usual. By the time I returned, my in-laws were awake. My husband, James, was out for his routine jog, while my mother-in-law, Margaret, sat on the porch, fanning herself. She scowled. "Took you long enough at the market. What do you even do out there to waste so much time?" I didn't respond, heading inside to store the groceries and prepare breakfast. Once the meal was ready, I went upstairs. Lily was awake, playing in her crib. James was in the bathroom, combing his hair and spritzing cologne, as usual. I took Lily to clean her up, then brought her downstairs. My in-laws were already at the table. I fed Lily her porridge. James came down, saw the breakfast of crepes, and frowned. "Crepes? Nah, I'll pass." I looked up. "Don't you usually love crepes? Why not today?" He hesitated, then muttered, "I'm just tired of them, that's all." I was about to question him further when Margaret snapped, "Go cook him some noodles. You want him to go to work hungry?" Before I could reply, James waved it off. "No, I'll eat out." He grabbed his things and rushed out, looking oddly hurried. I didn't dwell on it. Lily needed feeding, and I had to get her to daycare. Another busy day began. Suddenly, my phone buzzed wildly on the table, nearly falling off. I dropped the half-washed laundry, rinsed my hands, and answered. A voice barked, "Where are you?" "At home." "What's wrong?" "Get dressed and meet me now." "I sent you the address." Confused, I asked, "What's going on?" "I'm in the middle of laundry." "Oh, please. Forget the laundry. If you don't hurry, you'll lose everything. Don't say I didn't warn you." My friend, Sarah, hung up, clearly frustrated. I didn't understand, but her urgency made me think it was serious. I left the laundry, changed, and headed downstairs. Margaret was watching TV, laughing loudly. My father-in-law was probably playing chess with his friends, as usual. Seeing me dressed to go out, Margaret's smile vanished. "Where are you off to? Have you finished your chores?" "I'm stepping out for a bit." "I'll finish when I'm back," I said, heading for my scooter. She called after me, "You'd better be back to cook lunch. It's nearly noon, and you're out gallivanting. Always shirking work." I didn't reply. Her complaints were routine. I rode to the address Sarah sent, a charming cafe with a garden and koi pond. I barely noticed the scenery, scanning for Sarah. I called her. Up on the second floor. "I'm coming to get you," she said. I climbed the stairs. Sarah was waiting, her expression urgent. "Listen, you need to stay calm. This might be a shock, but you deserve to know." She led me to a corner table, her words making me anxious. What could be so terrible? Then she pointed to a table nearby. A man and a woman sat close, the woman leaning into him, their intimacy unmistakable. They looked like a couple in love. The man's posture, his shirt, his shoes, his watch, it all felt eerily familiar. My heart sank. I turned to Sarah, who met my gaze with a knowing nod. Was that man, so affectionate with another woman, my husband, James? I froze. There they were, openly embracing in a crowded place. The wedding ring on James's finger glinted, yet he held another woman without shame. My hands trembled, my breath caught, my heart felt crushed. James and I had been married for 2 years, with a 1-year-old daughter, Lily. We dated for a year before marrying, and I'd trusted him completely, building my life around him. Yet, before Lily was even a year old, he was with someone else. Their ease suggested this wasn't new, it had been going on for some time. Sarah grabbed my hand to comfort me, but she seemed at a loss for words. My body shook, tears welled up. How could they be so brazen? Seeing my devastation, Sarah pulled me downstairs. I followed, numb, like a ghost. At the lake nearby, Sarah paid for our drinks and waited as I broke down, sobbing. Our seemingly happy marriage, barely 2 years old, was shattering. This should have been our happiest time, with our love blossoming into a family. We'd faced hardships together before marrying, yet now he'd betrayed our vows. The image of their intimacy haunted me. Passers-by glanced at me with pity, but I didn't care. My family was crumbling. What did strangers' looks matter? Sarah let me cry, then said softly, "I know this hurts, but it's better to know than to be deceived forever while you slave away for his family. What do you do now?" Sobbing, I replied, "What can I do? I never thought James could do this. Is it because I'm not pretty anymore after giving birth? But I had his child. Lily's so sweet, why would he cheat?" Sarah sighed, letting me ramble. "Or is it because I don't work? Does he think I'm a burden? I do all the housework, care for his parents. When have I ever let him worry? Or is it me?" Sarah gripped my hands. "Stop blaming yourself. You've done more than enough. He's the one who doesn't value your sacrifices. He's the one at fault, not you." Her words made me cry harder. She held me, letting me pour out my pain. The sadness lingered, but my emotions settled slightly. I thought of divorce, but how could I support Lily? She was so young, the court would likely grant me custody, but what then? Would she grow up resenting me for taking her from her father? And financially, I had nothing. The house we lived in belonged to my in-laws, not us. Since Lily's birth, I'd stopped working, relying entirely on James. Even with alimony, Margaret's stinginess would ensure it wasn't enough. I couldn't burden my parents, they'd supported me through school, and I'd married without contributing to them. Returning to them in disgrace was unthinkable. Their small grocery store in the countryside barely sustained them. Continuing with a cheating husband, though, was unbearable. I shared my dilemma with Sarah. She sighed, "You've sacrificed so much for that family, and now you'd leave with nothing? That's so unfair." I could only sigh in return. When you endure injustice for too long, it starts to feel normal. I didn't know how to face James that evening, but I had nowhere else to go. Sarah had her own family, I couldn't stay with her forever. Reluctantly, I returned home. Sarah rode with me, worried I'd spiral, but I knew I had to live for Lily and my parents. Margaret was still watching TV. Seeing me, she barked, "Where were you? Do you know what time it is? Planning to starve us?" I had no energy to argue, greeting her briefly before heading upstairs. She muttered, "Hurry up and cook. You can't even handle a few chores properly." Shutting the bedroom door, the cafe scene flooded back, and I burst into tears. The small, happy room now felt filled with deceit and betrayal. Our wedding photo above the bed stabbed at my heart. Margaret's voice soon echoed from below, "It's past 10. Are you staying up there forever? Get down and cook." "Yes, I'm coming," I replied, swallowing my emotions and wiping my tears. Duty called, no matter the pain. As I nearly finished cooking, Margaret poked around the kitchen, lifting pot lids and sneering, "Look at this mess. Potato soup without chives for color? It's practically boiled potatoes. And what's this? Some sad stir-fry?" Normally, I'd stay silent. She always criticized, yet ate everything, claiming it was to avoid waste. But today, her words stung differently. Margaret, a retired teacher, spent her days dancing with neighbors or idling at home, never helping me, not even with Lily. From the start, she disliked me, a small-town girl who'd studied and worked in the city, where I met James. She thought I was a gold digger after a city residency. James and I hadn't crossed any lines before marriage, but that didn't stop her suspicions. Only his persistence convinced her to let us marry. Her dislike meant constant nitpicking, no matter how well I did. I'd grown used to it, staying quiet to keep the peace for James's sake. When I got pregnant, she seemed thrilled, urging James to buy nutritious food for me. I thought Lily's arrival might soften her, but when we learned it was a girl, her attitude flipped. She called me useless, saying her family was cursed to have me as a daughter-in-law. James was disappointed too, but I bore it silently, not wanting to burden him. After Lily's birth, I wanted to return to work, but Margaret opposed it. She didn't want to watch Lily, claiming it would disrupt her leisurely life. So, I stayed home, cooking and cleaning, sacrificing everything, only for James to betray me. "This food has no flavor," Margaret snapped, jolting me back. Irritated, I replied, "I'm cooking, aren't I? Please wait outside. I'll call you when it's ready." She was stunned. Her obedient daughter-in-law had never spoken back. "You're kicking me out? Getting bold, aren't you?" she snapped. "I'm not kicking you out. I'm asking you to wait." "I haven't said anything disrespectful," I said firmly. Caught off guard, she muttered, "Hurry up. Your father-in-law is almost home." She walked out, glancing back as if checking if I was still the same pushover. "What's with her today?" she mumbled, then barked, "Stop staring and cook. Can't even manage a meal." Her words, usually ignored, now choked me. I toiled like an unpaid servant, yet to her, I was worthless. James returned, wearing the same shirt, watch, and shoes from the cafe. My heart sank, recalling his embrace with another woman. I couldn't accept it. Tears fell as I turned away, wiping them quickly. I didn't know why I hid my pain. Perhaps I still hoped for normalcy. After dinner, endless chores awaited: dishes, cleaning, laundry, putting Lily to bed, preparing her clothes. Late at night, I finally entered our room. James, fresh from a shower, was on his phone, chuckling. Seeing me, he flinched, turning away. I knew what he was hiding. I ran the shower to mask my sobs, wanting to keep the truth buried until I decided what to do. I cried for myself, my sacrifices, and my innocent daughter. That night, I couldn't sleep, staring at James and Lily. Should I confront him? Give him a chance to return? Maybe I'd neglected myself, or my unemployment made him see me as a leech, driving him to another woman. But I'd given my health and youth to this family. I wasn't wrong. Leaving meant starting over with nothing, and I wasn't ready to let that happen. I still loved him. Texting Sarah, I poured out my turmoil. She understood, urging me to act. The next morning, exhausted from a nightmare, I stayed in bed. James slept soundly. How could a betrayer rest so easily while I suffered? I decided I'd no longer be their servant. I'd live for myself and Lily. At 6:30, James stirred, noticing me on my phone. "Not going to the market? Mom will be up soon." I turned to Lily, ignoring him. "I'm tired. Tell your parents to get breakfast themselves." "What's that supposed to mean?" "I don't understand," he said, confused. "I'm not doing it." "Tell them to eat out," I replied coldly. He paused, then softened. "Are you sick? Need a doctor?" I almost laughed. Once, when Lily was 3 months old and we were both ill, I'd begged him to take us to the doctor. He dodged, claiming work, leaving me to rely on Margaret, who refused, citing her age. I'd borrowed money from Sarah for a taxi. He'd barely asked about us afterward, yet now he played the caring husband. After seeing him with another woman, his concern nauseated me. Go to work. I can handle it, I said. He started to speak but stopped, seeing my indifference. Then came loud banging. Margaret. Where are you? The sun's up, and you're still in bed? What kind of daughter-in-law are you? I stayed put, calling to James in the bathroom. Open the door. Tell her I'm sick. He rushed out, opening the door. Mom, Emily's not feeling well. Can you and Dad eat out? Margaret stormed in, yanking my blanket. Sick. Lazy, more like. Get up and cook. We don't keep freeloaders. Her shouting woke Lily, who cried. I sat up, comforting her. Margaret pointed at James. See? She's fine. Just pretending. Only a fool like you would believe her. Turning to me, she barked, Get to the market. I said I'm not going. Can't you eat out? I shot back, pretending to be sick to slack off. Go now, she yelled. Lily's cries grew louder. I turned to James. Take your parents out to eat. He hesitated, then said, Mom, I'll take you and Dad out. Margaret ignored him, advancing. Who gave you the right to order my son around? You've done nothing for this family, just leeching off us. Think birthing a girl makes you special? I'll teach you. She lunged, but I dodged. She tried again, but James pulled her back. Mom, please. I'll take you out. It's just breakfast. Furious, she struggled, scratching at me but missing. Let me go. I'll teach her. James dragged her downstairs. Soon, I heard the car leave. I soothed Lily until she slept, the house quiet again. I sighed, this was only the beginning. That day, I couldn't function. After dropping Lily at daycare, I stayed in my room, plotting how to avoid leaving empty-handed. Divorce meant lawyer fees, but I had no money. Margaret controlled James's salary, giving me just $5 daily for 4 people's meals, barely enough, with her sometimes demanding change. A call from my father interrupted my thoughts. Emily, are you busy? No, Dad. What's up? We have some land up in the village that's not farmable. They're buying it for an industrial park with a big payout. I was thrilled for them, a nest egg for their retirement. Really? Sell it, Dad. It's not useful anyway. I'm planning to. We'll split the money with you and James. Come home soon, and we'll discuss it. My heart sank, there was no us anymore. But I didn't tell him, saying, we're fine, Dad. Keep the money for yourselves. We worked our lives for you kids, he insisted. We chatted briefly before hanging up. At 26, I'd done nothing for my parents, only adding to their worries. Feeling like a failure, I called Sarah to eat out, grabbing savings from my working days hidden in a box. I chose a dress I loved but hadn't worn in ages, applied makeup, and went downstairs. Margaret smirked, claimed you were sick, yet now you're dolled up? Not lazy, huh? I ignored her, stepping into a waiting taxi. Oddly, she only said, that's more like it, without her usual tantrum. Had James calmed her? I wondered but brushed it off. At lunch, Sarah remarked, strange. Did your mother-in-law suddenly turn kind? Who cares? Eat up, I'm treating, I said. With what money? My savings. Good thing I planned ahead. You're smarter than I thought. Why not confront James? If you still love him, be honest. If he's got any conscience, you could forgive him, keeping a father for Lily. He might change. If he chooses her, you'll have no regrets. It's his choice, not your fault. I nodded. Her advice made sense. Whatever happens, live for Lily, your parents, and yourself, she added. I agreed, resolved to follow her plan. We hung out until James called. I ignored it. He texted, "You're sick but out. Parents are asking." I didn't reply. By 5 p.m., I told Sarah, "Let's head back." She nodded. "I've got to pick up my kid." "Stay strong, I'm here for you." Her support bolstered me. I arranged for Lily's teacher to watch her that evening, slipping her an envelope she reluctantly accepted. Returning home, James's car was in the driveway. My in-laws had eaten and were watching TV. I greeted them and went upstairs. Margaret sniped, some daughter-in-law, out all day. Probably chasing men. James, fresh from a shower, asked, "Where were you?" I was worried. I smirked, locking the door and sitting across from him. "James, we need to talk." "I'm listening. Tell me the truth. Are you hiding something?" He feigned confusion. "What?" "You're tired and delirious. Answer me. What are you hiding?" Knowing I had no proof, I pulled out my phone, showing photos from the cafe. His face paled, his voice stammering. "How'd you get these?" "That doesn't matter. I saw you with her, openly affectionate." "Don't tell me it's a misunderstanding, I saw it all." Cornered, he grabbed my hand. "I'm sorry." It was a moment of weakness. Though I'd braced for this, his confession tore at my heart. He explained meeting her during a work deal, their casual meals turning into an affair while I was postpartum, too busy with Lily to notice him. They'd been sneaking around for nearly a year. I fought tears, but who could stay calm hearing their husband admit to cheating? He begged, "I still love you. Don't leave me. How can I forgive you? You betrayed me. It was just a mistake. I never meant to hurt you." "How far did it go? Hotels? A child?" No. Just, I laughed bitterly, tears streaming. He knelt, swearing to end it. "Please forgive me." I didn't answer, crying until exhaustion took over. He stayed kneeling. Streetlights flickered outside. Silence stretched. I thought of Lily, sleeping peacefully in her photo. She needed a full family. Sarah's words echoed, if he wanted to return, I should give him one last chance. I forgave him, grateful he still valued our family. James resumed his routine, work, meals at home, but now he was attentive, helping with Lily and chores. Margaret disapproved, yanking him away when he washed dishes. "What are you doing? She's lazy, and now you're her servant?" James countered, "I'm helping my wife. She's been sick from overwork." "What's wrong with that?" She scoffed, "No son of mine does housework. She's not crippled." But James stood firm, pushing her out. She fumed, muttering, "Keep spoiling her, and she'll ruin you." James's care continued. He came home early, bought me treats, hid them from Margaret. She grew angrier, believing a useless daughter-in-law like me didn't deserve it. I was happy, thinking he'd cut ties with the other woman, my forgiveness rewarded. But I was wrong. Returning from the market, I overheard an argument near our neighbor's house. A familiar voice pleaded, "Go home. I'll come later." It was James. I crept closer, seeing him pulling a woman, the same one from the cafe, her shoulder tattoo unmistakable. She yelled, "I'm not leaving until we settle this." He begged, "My wife's almost home. If she sees us, we're done." Scared of what? That country bumpkin? Let's go public. Don't you want to divorce her? Please, go. They struggled, him pushing her away. My heart shattered. I'd believed he'd return to us, but reality slapped me awake. His happiness was a facade. If I clung to hope, I'd be the fool. Steeling myself, I stepped forward. No need to argue. Let's go inside. They froze, releasing each other. I repeated, inside. Stop making a scene for the neighbors. I walked in, ignoring Margaret's usual complaints. She saw James and the woman enter, confused. Who's this, James? Why is she here so early? The woman chirped, hello, ma'am. I'm James's friend, maybe your future daughter-in-law. Margaret bristled, shoving her hand away. What nonsense is this? The woman clung to her, but Margaret snapped, who are you? James avoided the question, heading inside. The woman followed, chattering. I set groceries on the counter and sat in the living room, bracing myself. James slumped into a chair, Margaret and the woman joining us. I studied her, young, beautiful, seductive. No wonder she'd ensnared James. But her smugness betrayed her shallowness. James looked like a caught thief, pathetic. Margaret demanded, what's going on, James? Calmly, I said, Mom, I'll be honest so you won't wonder later. You've noticed James being good to me, right? It's because he wronged me. I forgave him, but he's back to his old ways. This is his mistress. She cut in, I'm Sophia, not mistress. I'm James's girlfriend. Turning to Margaret, she added, nice to meet you, ma'am. Margaret stared at James. Is this true? He hung his head, silent, a coward who cheated but couldn't confess. Sophia, however, preened, proud of her achievement. She taunted me, think being his legal wife makes you special? You're just a name on a paper. Maybe, but it's my name. You have nothing, I retorted. You know nothing. James spends more time with me than you. You're just his wife on paper. Her words stung, she was right. I was no better than her. But I wouldn't let her win. Turning to James, I said, tell her how you begged my forgiveness. Why are you still with her? He stayed silent. Sophia sneered, why should he fear you, a nobody from the sticks? You're ugly, outdated, worse after childbirth. What right do you have to keep him? Enough. James shouted, silencing us. To Sophia, he said, go home. She refused. Not until we settle this. He glared. I said go. She shrank but persisted. If you don't clarify today, I'm not leaving. Fine. I love only my wife, he said, grabbing my hand. Emily, believe me. I want to end it, but she won't let go. I'm yours alone. His eyes seemed sincere, and I almost believed him. Sophia screamed, what did you say? I love my wife. Leave, he repeated. Furious, Sophia played her trump card. James, I'm pregnant. The room froze. My legs gave out. She was pregnant with his child? James stammered, I didn't know. Emily, you have to believe me. I couldn't stay strong. My body went limp, tears streaming. The worst had happened. Sophia smirked, it's a boy, 3 months along. She showed Margaret an ultrasound. See, ma'am? It's healthy, a strong boy. Margaret softened, asking James, is this true? He shook his head. I have Lily. I only want my wife. Sophia wailed, how can you abandon our child? James ignored her, helping me upstairs, locking the door. Don't worry. I'll make her get rid of it. I'm done with her. I sat, unsure if I could trust him. He promised to handle it and left. Later, he said she was gone, and no one would bother us. I believed him, hoping he meant it. James became the perfect husband and father, handling chores and caring for Lily. I was drained, unable to manage much, but he took over everything. Margaret disapproved, accusing me of exaggerating and burdening James. When he was home, he defended me. When he wasn't, I ignored her rants. One night, Lily woke, and I soothed her. James was gone, probably doing laundry, I thought. Thirsty, I went downstairs, hearing whispers from the porch. Curious, I eavesdropped. Margaret said, "Are you under her spell? You ended the affair, yet she's got you doing everything. You're wasting away." "Mom, I have a plan." "I'm not stupid." "What are you scheming?" "She's nothing, ugly, rural, a leech who birthed a girl. I'd have left her and married the mistress. She's pregnant with a boy. I know about her parents' land deal, billions. They'll split it with Emily and her sister. That's why I'm playing nice. Don't mess with her, or it'll ruin everything." "Smart boy. Did you really make the mistress abort?" "Why would I? It's a boy. Once I get the money, I'll kick Emily out and bring my son home." They laughed. I stood, shattered. I'd been fooled again. How did he know about the land? My father wouldn't have told him. He'd planned this for a while. Only a fool like me fell for it twice. Upstairs, I lay numb, plotting revenge. If he used kindness to manipulate, I'd turn it against him. The next morning, when he asked what I wanted for breakfast, I casually said, "Seafood." I backtracked, "Anything's fine," but I knew he'd heard. That evening, he brought home a feast of fresh seafood. Margaret questioned it, but he brushed it off. Emily wanted it. She scoffed, "A leech making demands?" I said, "I don't know how to cook this. You do it." He agreed, and I took Lily upstairs. As expected, he steamed everything simply. With the house empty, my father-in-law at chess, Margaret at dance, I ate the entire spread alone, hid the shells, and went to bed. Later, Margaret's screams woke me. "Emily! Get down here!" She accused me of eating it all. I denied it, pointing out James was home too. She insisted I'd sneaked it while he fixed the sink outside. James defended me, she didn't eat it. Margaret fumed, but he stood firm. I played coy, "You believe me, right?" He nodded, and Margaret stormed off, too angry to eat. The next day, I asked for money for a new dress for a class reunion, acting hesitant to avoid suspicion. He handed over nearly all his cash, keeping just enough for gas. I thanked him sweetly, hiding my smirk. Instead of shopping, I saved it for my plan. I kept asking for money, draining his wallet until he borrowed from Margaret, who grumbled, "What are you spending on?" "Investments. I only see you take." He reassured her, "Big fish need long lines." When I pushed further, he suggested visiting my parents, likely to probe about the land. I'd saved enough, so I agreed, letting him think he was winning. At my parents' house, James played the doting husband, but I'd warned them not to mention the land deal. He tried fishing for info, but my father deflected, claiming the land was worthless. Frustrated, James barely spoke on the drive home. I stopped asking for money, instead hiring a detective to investigate his finances and Sophia. The detective revealed James had a $10,000 savings account, started post-marriage, funded monthly with $1,000, impossible on his $500 salary. He also co-owned a Chinese restaurant, likely funded by my wedding gold, which he'd borrowed for a friend's accident and never returned. Sophia, his business partner, had seduced him, exploiting his desire for a son, though she had other lovers, and her pregnancy's paternity was questionable. The savings were marital property, but the restaurant, co-owned with a friend, wasn't easily divisible. I didn't want his assets, I wanted what I deserved after 2 years of sacrifice. Unable to solve the restaurant issue, I consulted Sarah, who recommended a lawyer, Ethan. I met him at a cafe. Young and polished, he exuded confidence. After hearing my story, he asked, "What do you want post-divorce?" "My rightful share and custody of Lily." "Custody's straightforward. The restaurant's tricky but doable. I'll keep fees reasonable since Sarah's a friend." He advised gathering proof of James's affair. As I left, he asked, "Don't you remember me?" I was puzzled, but he brushed it off, leaving quickly. For days, I tailed James, but he stuck to work in the restaurant. Just as I doubted he'd see Sophia, he visited her. I snapped photos and sent them to Ethan, then wrote a divorce petition. That evening, I presented it to James and my in-laws. Margaret exploded, "Who gave you the right?" "I'm an adult. I can divorce if the law allows," I said. James pleaded, "We're fine now. I've changed." "I see your change, but is it genuine or for the land deal?" His face fell. "You've been with her all along, using me for my parents' money. Sign the petition. I'm filing tomorrow." He laughed, "We have no joint assets. You'll leave with nothing. Think I don't know your hidden assets, built on my sweat? You won't keep them." He tore the petition, vowing to regain my trust for the money. I shrugged, "Tear it. I don't need your consent." Upstairs, I locked the door. He banged, demanding entry, but I ignored him, sleeping soundly for the first time in ages. The next morning, I packed, unsure where I'd go but determined to leave. With Lily and a suitcase, I faced Margaret on the porch. "I'm going to my parents. Divorce is inevitable." She screamed for James, who tried to stop me, grabbing Lily. "You're not taking her. Give her back. You wanted a son, not her. I'll get custody anyway." We struggled, and in the chaos, I slipped, hitting my head. Blood pooled as Margaret screamed, and Lily wailed. Darkness took me. In a strange dream, I relived high school, seeing myself with Sarah and a bespectacled boy sneaking glances at me. The dream shifted to college, where he followed me, never speaking, then to my marriage with James, Lily's birth, Margaret's cruelty, and the cafe betrayal. I fell again, waking in a white room, unable to move or speak. A doctor's voice said, "She's stable, but waking depends on her will." James replied, "Thank you for saving her. This coma's perfect, she can't give me the land money, but she's not dead either." His cruel laugh crushed me. My parents visited, weeping. James faked concern, sending them away. I was trapped in my body, a prisoner. A nurse cared for me but cursed me when alone, calling me useless. On the third day, a man with a minty scent massaged my limbs to prevent atrophy, urging me to wake. His visits became my lifeline. One stormy day, the nurse left a window open, soaking me. Feverish, I dreamed again, chasing the bespectacled boy until I fell, waking in the hospital, disoriented but alive. I couldn't speak but closed my eyes when the nurse entered, deciding to feign coma to recover secretly and surprise everyone. The mint-scented man continued visiting, his voice soothing. I longed to see him but feared revealing my recovery. James gloated about tricking my parents into sharing the $1.6 million land payout, planning to claim it alone once I was no longer his wife. I stayed still, waiting for the right moment. The next day, as my parents arrived to announce the payout, I opened my eyes, grabbing my father's hand. "I don't need him to care for me." They gasped. "You're awake." Tears flowed as we embraced. I told them, "James pushed me. He cheated, refused divorce for your money. I have proof and a lawyer. He hired a nurse who cursed me, monitoring me, not caring." My father, furious, told James, "You get nothing. The lawyer will handle the divorce." James raged, grabbing a fruit knife and holding it to my throat. "It's your fault. Why didn't you die?" My parents pleaded, but he dragged me toward the door, vowing no one would leave. The door burst open, and someone tackled him, disarming him. James fled through a window. As I collapsed, the minty scent enveloped me. Waking later, my parents fussed over me. I smiled, "I'm fine with you here." Sarah arrived with Ethan, teasing, "Recognize him?" The minty scent hit me. Ethan was the bespectacled boy who'd loved me silently through school, stepping in to save me now. James was arrested, sentenced to 18 years. His assets went to Lily, managed by me until she came of age. I revealed Sophia's child wasn't his, driving him to despair. Margaret collapsed at the verdict, supported by her husband as they left. Outside the courthouse, Ethan waited, not as my lawyer, but my partner. He'd been the mint-scented visitor, his sincerity winning my heart even in my coma. On a perfect, sunny day, I walked down the aisle, Lily scattering flowers, my father by my side. Ethan stood waiting, love in his eyes. I believed this was my true, final love, a family with him, Lily, and me, built on genuine care, not deceit. Love arrives in our darkest moments, quietly lighting the way, growing to illuminate our souls. Dear listeners, what a tragedy to live doubting your spouse's heart. Behind James's facade lay a greedy soul, forsaking love for money. Emily's misfortune was marrying him, but her strength in escaping that darkness led her to brighter days with those who truly cherished her. Happiness awaits beyond the storm if we dare to leave pain behind. That's our story today. Please like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Farewell until next time.